Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the 8 pair of earrings that I will be making. Most of the beads came from the Splash of Color treasure bag from GGC Beginning Beaders, and I have to say I am super happy with the way these came out. And most of these earrings were just so easy to create, and that speaks very highly to the quality of the beads that came in this treasure bag. Some of these were just so simple. The beads speak for themselves, so there wasn't a whole lot needed to add to some of these, like the hand-painted flower beads on the bottom there. They're just absolutely beautiful. Some of my favorite beads. I just love the way that they came out. And of course, on that second line there, those rectangular crystals, just absolutely high quality, beautiful beads. Of course, I needed to throw in one pair that was just a little bit more complicated to make, but it was also very, very fun to make. Those treasure bags are just so inspiring. If you're interested in signing up for those treasure bags, I will have the information down below. She does not have a monthly subscription, but you can sign up to be notified when her treasure bags come out, and then you can decide for yourself if you want to get that particular one or not. But if you're anything like me, you will do whatever you can to get them all. I am so excited about this video. If you would like to see how these earrings came about, then stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is talk about the tools that I will be using. I am going to be using 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of round nose pliers, and 1 set of cutters. I do want to briefly mention my tools. I will have these linked down below along with everything that I am using that did not come from the treasure bag. These tools, in my opinion, are worth the money. They are very high quality, very well made, and the biggest thing for me with this set of tools is the adult size grips. These tools are called the Casual Comfort Tool Set. And as the name says, they are very, very comfortable to use. A lot of times in the stores, you will see these tools that come with very small size grips. And yes, they function, but when I purchased this set of tools, it was just a game changer for me. It is the only tool set that I have used since I purchased them. So like I said, I highly recommend them, but even if you don't get this tool set, I just very strongly recommend that you invest in your tools. To me, it is just absolutely worth it. So how this is going to work, I will have 1 earring in each pair of earrings that I am making that is already made, and we will make the second one together. So here is the first one. So we're going to make the component and then attach it to the ear wire. So I have a ballpoint pin. So the focal bead for this pair of earrings is the 16 by 10 millimeter faceted imitation Austrian crystal. Now, I just think this is an absolutely beautiful bead. So this is going to be the center point of this earring. The smaller rondelles also came from the treasure bag. And then there is these spacer beads that came from my own stash. So very simply, we're going to put a rondelle, a spacer bead, the rectangular crystal, spacer bead, rondelle. So there is the order. And the way I make my loops, I take my round nose pliers and I go just above that top bead, bend it back just like that, bend it forward with my fingers, got a nice loop there. Then I'm going to hang on to the end of it with my fingers and go in with my cutters. And then before I close that loop, I'm going to put on the ear wire and then close that loop just like that. All right, so here is the pair that I just made, And of course, in the treasure bag, there is also the exact same crystal in the purple color and the smaller rondelles in kind of a bluish purple as well. So same style of beads in both colors. Here is the first pair, but obviously we have two pair here. On to the next one. All right, so here is the second pair. So I have an eye pin. I'm gonna put on the 4mm rondelle. I go in with my round nose pliers just above the one bead and bend it just like that. Bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. And I'm going to be using one of the 15 by 10mm crystal cube pendants. And I'm gonna connect it to that loop that I started. And then I'm gonna close that loop. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the ear wire, open it just a little, and put on the other end of that component and close it right back. All right, and there is pair number 2. On to the next one. All right, so here is the next one. And for this one, I'll be using these round picture painted floral glass beads. And these might be my favorite beads in the entire box. These are just beautiful. I will also be using these floral bead caps from my own stash. So I have a ball pin, and I'm gonna go bead cap facing up, floral bead, bead cap facing down, bend it just like that with my round nose pliers, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, and then before I close it, I'm gonna put on the ear wire. And with bead caps, I like to tuck the end of the loop into the top of the bead cap, just like that. All right, so there is the pair that we just made. And of course, in the box, there are hand-painted blue ones as well. So of course, same method, same style, beautiful, beautiful beads. So here are the next two pairs. On to the next one. So here is the next one. Absolutely beautiful. So here is the next one, and it is a 23 by 15 by 7mm faceted glass colorful champagne teardrop pendant. And it's just so beautiful. I decided for this pair to just let it speak for itself. And I am simply adding it to an ear wire. So I just open the ear wire a little bit, place it on there, and close it right back. And I 100% think that sometimes the beads or the pendants just need to speak for themselves. And, you know, sometimes if you do too much for them, if you add too much, it can just look busy. And I think these are just stunning by themselves. And I pulled the bracelet I made. I'll link the video for this bracelet below, but I really think the Splash of Color bracelet, I really think these would go very, very well together. I just think it's very pretty. All right, on to the next one. All right, so here is the next pair. So for these, I'm gonna be using one of the round frosted electroplated colorful swirl beads. And I'm gonna make the component on the front first. So I have a ball pin, and I have these leaf bead caps from my own stash. Bead cap facing up, swirl bead, bead cap facing down. I'm gonna go in with my round nose pliers, bend, just like that. Bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. All right, then I'm gonna go back in with my round nose pliers and curl the end of it back in to the top of the bead cap, just like that. All right, so there you go. And I'm also using this 6 by 13 by 1mm 18 carat gold plated leaf pendant. So I do this with ear wires sometimes. If I need the loop to be facing the other direction, I take my chain nose pliers and I put it high enough up that the entire loop is covered by the chain nose pliers, and then I take as much of it that I can cover with my thumb and finger and just turn it. That way the loop is facing the other direction. Now I'm going to grab a jump ring, open it. I'm going to put on the leaf, the component, and the ear wire, and I want to make sure that the ear wire is facing in the right direction for the way it should be hanging. So if the component is on the front this way, then you want that to be the front. So it's hanging like this, and then close the jump ring. All right, so there's the next pair. On to the last one. All right, so my last pair is probably my most involved pair. I just think it turned out so beautiful. So here we go. So I'm going to be using a blue 15 by 10 millimeter crystal cube pendant, and I will be using 5 of these 5 by 9 blue oval cat's eye glass beads. And these are very cool because depending on how you're looking at it, you can see right there, it's almost like a hologram, like it changes. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make each one of these components in the center. All right, so the first one we're gonna make is this one on the outside, on both of the outsides. Take a ballpoint pen, put one of the 4 millimeter rondelles. I am using my own 3 millimeter spacers, and then one of the cat's eye. So you go in with your round nose pliers just above, bend it back with your fingers, go in with your cutters, and then bend that back in, close the loop, just like that. So you need 2 of these, there we go. Now we're gonna make the next one in, another ball and pin. So we have 4 millimeter rondelle, 3 millimeter spacer, cat's eye, another 3 millimeter spacer, and another 4 millimeter rondelle, just like that. Go in with your round nose pliers, bend it back with your fingers, go in with your cutters, and you go back in with your round nose pliers and close that loop, just like that. All right, so we need 2 of these. There you go. And now the one in the center. As you can see, this one has something dangling off the bottom of it, so we need an eye pin, and we're going to do a 3 millimeter spacer, rondelle, spacer, cat's eye, spacer, rondelle, spacer. So this is the long one in the center. And I usually try to get my loops to line up with each other when I have an eye pin like this at the bottom. So I'm gonna set it on my finger kind of lined up just like that, and then go in with my round nose pliers, bend back with my fingers, go in with my cutters, back in with my round nose pliers, and close that loop, just like that. Okay, so now we have all of the component parts, the dangle parts. Of course, they're not in the right order right here, but we have all of the parts. We need to create the bar in the center that they're all hanging off of. So what I am using is some gold wire right here, and I am going to go on one end of it and towards the end of my round nose pliers, because I don't want the hole to be too big. So I'm gonna go towards the end of my round nose pliers and just roll it back. Just like that. So there's a little loop at the end. You can see it there, there's a little loop at the end. So now, obviously before you roll off the other end, you're going to go ahead and hang everything on there in the correct order. So I'm going to have, move these over here, one of the small ones, and then in between each one, I'm putting on another rondelle, just like that. And then one of the medium ones, and then another rondelle. And then the longest one, rondelle, medium one, rondelle, little one. So there is the order right there. So now, obviously, I have way too much wire here on the other end. So before I loop it in, I'm going to cut off the end. So I'm going to hold it where it's facing up like this. And I am right-handed, so I'm holding it with my left hand. And then I'm going to go in. So you can see the loop is facing up right here. I'm going to go in with the end, try to get as close to the same spot as the other side. And then I'm going to do the same thing and curl it back. All right, so now we're going to take a jump ring and add our cube to the center one. So open the jump ring, put on the cube, put it on the center, close that jump ring. There you go. And the chain that came in the box, 1 yard of 5.7 by 3.8 Figaro chain. I'm using 4 links, 2 large links and 2 small links. Take a jump ring, open it. So I'm going to connect it to the smaller link, just like that. And I'm going to connect it to one side. Take the next jump ring. I'm going to connect it to that smallest link, like that. And then I'm going to connect it to the other side, just like that. And close that jump ring. Okay, here we go. So now you have the ends of the chain. Now you're going to take that last jump ring. You're going to connect it to both of the last links. And I'm going to go ahead and put the ear wire on it. All right, so here is that last pair. And now I'm going to set up all of the earrings on my display so that we can see them a little better. All right, so here they are. And I have to tell you, I am so happy with how these earrings came out. The quality of beads in this treasure bag just makes it so much easier to create. The beads that she selects are just so beautiful, and you just don't have to do a lot to them. Of course, obviously you can, if you want to, and that's how you like to create. But as you can see here, you can also keep it very, very simple and still just be so beautiful. If you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. What do you think about these earrings? And also, what do you think about the treasure bags from GGC Beginning Beaders? I am just super happy and I can't wait for the next one to come out. They're just absolutely amazing. I really love reading your comments. You guys are so, so kind. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.